you don't create these 3 videos after seeing what I just showed you, you're making an outward statement to the world that you just gave up on building your personal brand. Hola, Mr. Business Owner. To cut the shit, I go viral. A lot. More specifically, I have not had a video that's gotten less than 100,000 views in 963 days. And even if you look at that video, you'll see that it still has 97,000 views. Now, that said, after hearing that, you might be thinking, well, this kid is ridiculously handsome, clearly a genius, and grew up in the social media era. And maybe that discourages you, but it shouldn't. Because you don't need to be up here with Brad Pitt in looks or Einstein in IQ. All you need is a viral structure. Whenever I first started working with a business owner and they just aren't getting the views that they want, it's 9 times out of 10 not because their information is shit, it's just the way that they structure the information is shit. So today in this 15-minute video, I'll be walking you through 3 viral video structures that are murdering right now inside of my highest level program, Nexus. And by the end of this, you will have 3 viral scripts ready to record and profit from. So I recorded that intro maybe like 5 months ago to this video and I forgot to make it. That said, I just thought about it a couple days ago and I was like, that's a valuable fucking video. So here we are. So we're gonna go through the 3 video templates here. Genuinely, these take maybe upwards of 10 hours to make. And then of course, with myself, I've been scripting for the past 3 years, probably around at the minimum 4 hours a day, I would say on average. So these are done to an extremely high quality, and this is not something that you just watch and like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna, just learn and, follow along. Well, you will be following along. I would highly recommend that you don't look at this video and think, oh, okay, I wanna watch this video, it'll be mental masturbation, cool, I'll learn a couple things on the scripting and I'll go about my day. I highly recommend that you sit here and you take the hour, I would say it's gonna take realistically, to script out these 3 videos, because these 3 videos are coming from the best performing templates inside of my highest level program, Nexus, that's been proven to work time and time again. So if you haven't already, basically in the second link in the description, there'll be a link to the 3 video templates we're gonna cover today. Go ahead and click that link. I'm gonna ask for a fucking email, type in your email, and then you'll get the template sent over to your email. Grab that link, go and open that bad boy up, and then follow along as we go through. That said, we're gonna start off strong with this video, which is called the tier list bridge template. All right, so for this video in particular, this is a script I actually wrote for Cody Sanchez. If you look at her account, this is the most commented on video Cody's ever posted ever. And if you guys don't know Cody, Cody's a big creator. She's made a bunch of videos previously and has almost 100,000 comments. And this is not something that is like, holy shit, I need to make this right now. I don't know what is. Now, the way that we're gonna run through this is, here, I want you guys through the template just so you understand what's going on. So at the top here, you have the overview, you have the video, which we'll play in a second. You have the summary of the template. You have the actual original script here following the structure that we're gonna cover. And then from there, it's just basically step by step. Hey, here's the structure, here's the framework you follow, here's an explanation of that framework, and then here's multiple other examples in different niches that you can look at and say, okay, cool. I see the template, I see the structure I'm supposed to follow. Let me look at the patterns and see the pattern recognition of what I should be doing. So we have not only the actual example of Cody's video, but we also have the multiple other examples in different niches that we've written out, which are full-fleshed scripts that you can look at. All that said, I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, so let's go ahead and take a look at the video.
Which business ideas are most likely to make you a millionaire? I have a tiered list. The last one might be gross, but I do think it makes a lot of people rich. Let's start with drop shipping at the bottom. It sounds too easy, it probably is. Shopify says 90% of these fail within the first month, so that is an F tier. Then we go to clothing brands. Everyone and their barista has a clothing brand, and there's a reason they're still making your lattes. Margins razor thin, you're competing with billion-dollar brands, and things go out of style just as fast as these businesses go out of business. Then we got D tier, tree trimming. This is where things start looking up. Why? Because you know what doesn't go out of style? Gravity. Trees fall, storms hit, homeowners pay big money to make it somebody else's problem. So one emergency job, you're looking at 40% plus margin. Seasonal, recurring, overlooked. Now let's go up to the next tier, which is where trash is literally turned into treasure. Waste removal. It's simple. You drop the trash bin, pick it up, repeat. You can charge $100 to $400 per rental, and one truck can run multiple loads a day. A guy I know in Texas actually rents out 2 bins with 1 driver, him, and brings in $600K a year. Best part, most contracts come from construction companies or cities. So not a bunch of ads, funnels, chasing clients, you just pick up the phone. The millionaires I know aren't trying to go viral. They're buying businesses that cash flow on autopilot. You don't need to be a genius, you need ownership. I put together like a full list of my tiered businesses. If you want the blueprint, comment more and I'll send it to you.
Beautiful. All right, let's break it down. So In the intro, she says, which business ideas are most likely to make you a millionaire? I have a tier list. So the framework of this hook is simply going to be which tools/methods will get you desirable results? I have a tier list. So what you want to do is you want to ask a question using the language of your ideal clients or what they would actually naturally use. So when everything about when everything about 9-to-5ers that want to start a business, first thing that they feel as if they need is a business idea. And then what's their goal is probably to become a millionaire. So that's what we did within the hook. And then from there, it must be short, don't make it too long or people are going to scroll. And then immediately, as fast as you humanly can, get out of that question. And then from there, show visually on the screen the tier list. So to show you a couple of different examples, if you're an AI automation, which AI tools will make you rich? I have a tier list. Longevity, if you're selling if you're Brian Johnson, which supplements will help you live to 120? I have a tier list. Or if you're a dating coach, which first date ideas will get you a second date? I have a tier list. And then once you post a question in the viewer's mind around, cool, what are the best things to get my results? And then you being the authority, you have a tier list. You don't move directly into the tier list. What you want to do is you want to do it what's called a damaging admission. So what a damaging admission means is that you basically say a negative and then you put a but to negate that negative and then you add the positive. That way your positive seems more believable. So if I was just like, if I told you that I don't have a big penis, but I am one of the best in the world at writing scripts, I am now admitting to you a negative about myself, which makes it more likely or more believable whenever I make my positive since I made an admission to you. So in this video, she said the last one might be gross, but it does make a lot of people rich. Now, whenever it comes down to the damaging admission, don't do what I did to where the damaging admission was completely irrelevant. What you want to do is you want to choose a negative that is seen as a negative. You don't want it to feel like you're using a tactic on the viewer, but it also must actually be seen as a negative, but your viewer might not care all that much. So for me personally, if it comes down to making money and something is gross, as long as it's ethical and moral and I believe in it, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to make money. And I would imagine that's how a lot of our idol clients feel as well. So even though it was a negative by being gross, it wasn't an off-putter to where people still want to listen. And then whenever she made the claim of, whenever she made the claim of it does make a lot of people rich, and now makes that claim more believable. And then after you make that damaging admission, then you begin your tier list. Now, how you actually begin your tier list does matter, and it must be strategic. So we do F tier, E tier, D tier, and then C tier. And the reason why we don't do A and S is something we'll get to in a second. But in the F tier, what I want you to do is I want you to choose the most popular tool/method that a majority of our idol clients already know, but most importantly, overrate. So for example, for Cody, drop shipping, when everything about like making money online, drop shipping is like the OG, it's what everyone thinks about. So it is the most overrated option that she could have named that all of our idol clients already know about. So we chose that one to go first. So she said, let's start off with drop shipping at the bottom. Fucking F tier. So you just go ahead and state what the tier is for whatever the tool/method is. And then directly after that, give a no longer than 1 to 2 sentence explanation to justify why that method/tool is an F tier. Try to make it as objective and logical as possible to where they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So for her, she's like, if it sounds too easy, it probably is. Shopify says 90% of these fail within the first month. So she used extremely it's logical. Everyone's heard that before, but then also on top of that, she backs it up with an objective statement, which is Shopify, well-known authority, gave stats around why it sucks. Cool, you believe her now. And then you move on. If you want more examples, you can check that out. E tier, same structure. Basically, as you go through the tiers, it's the same structure every single time. Choose another option that your idol clients overrate and then basically just go over why it's bad. So then you have clothing brands in E tier, also an extremely popular online business ordeal. And she goes on to, again, giving that logical reasoning around everyone in their barista has a clothing brand and there's still a reason on why they're making your lattes. And then you go into the objectiveness. Margins are razor thin, you're competing with billion-dollar brands, and things go out of style just as fast as these businesses go out of business. I'm an amazing scriptwriter. Anyways, do that for E tier. D tier, similar thing. However, D tier, like F and E tier need to be shit. D tier is where things start to look up. So in this, you just give it insight. Well, you name it. So D tier, tree trimming. This obviously is more in line with Cody's brand because she teaches people how to build boring businesses and not online businesses. So the actual good option is tree trimming. This is where she says, this is where things start looking up. Why? Because you know what doesn't go out of style? Gravity. Logical. And then she adds a second sentence. Again, I would like you guys to keep it to 1 to 2 lines max. I just thought this was a really good line, so I added it. And then the insights, which is the more objective side. So one emergency job, you're looking at a 40% plus margin, seasonal, recurring, and overlooked. C tier, this is going to be whatever your S tier is pretty much. Like you want to make it to where your D tier and C tier are basically like your A and S tiers. So then she goes over this, waste removal, same thing we talked about previously. It's simple. You just do this. It's really easy. Gives an insight. Again, I prefer you guys to keep it to 2 lines max. And then the best part, most contracts come from construction companies or cities, so not a bunch of ads, funnels, chasing clients. You just pick up the phone. That sounds pretty good, right? Now, the reason why we did this the way that we did it, to where you're looking at E tier, well, basically F tier, E tier, D tier, and C tier is because there is an assumption that you're going to go on to talk about B, A, and S tier, but you're not, because you want people to comment for B, A, and S tier. And by making C tier and D tier look really good, because those are meant to be your good options, now people are really curious about, well, fuck, if those are the options of, I keep on forgetting which tier I'm on, if those are the options of D and C tier, what does B, A, and S tier look like? And then you make them comment for it. So you follow this framework. I put together a list of my tiered tools/methods. If you want the resource, you're gonna name the resource, comment Word, and I'll send it to you. So for example, if you look at this, I put together a full list of my tiered businesses. If you want the blueprint, comment Board, and I'll send it to you. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. Next thing you know, damn near almost 100,000 comments and 100,000 leads that she now can go pursue and close. Now imagine what that would do to your business. If you had 100,000 people comment on your video, consume a free lead magnet, and then give you their email plus phone number, plus they sent you a message, because now the conversation is open in the DMs. This is beautiful. And then bada bing, bada boom, bada bam, you got a viral video and you got a fuck ton of leads. Now, one thing I mentioned previously is that if you scroll up here, you'll find script direction. So that's just the overall script direction. What I recommend you doing is I recommend you copying this over onto your own page. And then from there, just basically following the script framework. So if you look here on the second tab, this basically just gives you the script framework to follow. And then we also give you visual direction. So at the top, you got a video here from a guy named Prodigy. He'll run you through basically what to do for all the visuals throughout the video. And this literally cannot be easier. This is practically breastfeeding for viral videos. So what I recommend you doing now is I recommend you pause this video right now. And like I mentioned, don't just mentally masturbate to this information. Sit down, write this script, and then unpause the video whenever you're done, and then we'll move on to the next video template. All right, hopefully you're watching this video and going, holy shit, this is insane. And you're finding value in these video templates. And if you are finding value in these video templates so far, and you're thinking to yourself, how can I get more? Well, they all came from Nexus, which is my highest level program where there's a constantly updated library of templates just like these, and that's only one small part of what we offer. Now, if you're accepted into Nexus, then I'll work with you directly to build a tailored content strategy for you to follow, just hand you our predictable viral system for creating quality content, targeting your customers, and even help staff your own in-house content team. It is the exact blueprint that's allowed me to scale my own business to multiple 7 figures, and it's worked for over 100 different business owners as well. Now, all of that said, we're extremely hands-on, so we can't work with everyone, but if your online business makes over 20K per month or more, and you're interested in seeing what our system could look like inside of your business, then feel free to click on the first link in the description to learn more. All right, so now that you have viral video number 1 scripted, let's move on to number 2, never, ever, ever. So this is a video from Josh, also a video I helped script. Josh Lyons is a sales coach. This video got 1.4 million views. I think this might be his highest viewed video ever. And it's an amazing video. So let's go and take a look.
Never, ever, ever, ever send a client a link to pay. After you send the link, they start thinking about what can go wrong. The next thing you know, you'll hear, I need to think about it. Instead, you close this deal right then and there. This is how. After you drop the price, answered any questions, and then handled any concerns, ask the prospect this. Do you want to put that on Visa, MasterCard, Amex, or Discover? Cool. Notice to how I said it. Cool. Not cool and not great. Don't be excited like you're popping your sales virginity. It's just a sale. No big deal. Next, say this. I have your email as joshlyons@unicorncloser.com. Is that correct? Got it. Now pause for 2 to 3 seconds. This shows you're not eager, you're not rushing, and you're not needing the fucking sale. Finally, say this. Cool. So whenever you're ready, what is the 16-digit card number? And then just sit there in silence for a couple seconds, and like magic, if you had this cool, chill energy, they'll start reading out the 16-digit card number, and you just made a sale. Save this video, practice it a few times, and go make some fucking money.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful video. We've had many people inside Nexus get a fuck ton of views with this, so let's go over the template. All right, so this template in particular is broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. So first things first with the hook, never, ever, ever. I've used this hook multiple times. This hook just works. Use it. The framework is never, ever, ever, ever do common action. So for Josh's video, the common action, one thing that's important to note is whenever you name that common action, it must be an action that the viewer is either taking currently or could see themselves taking in their mind. To where if you over exaggerate the mistake or it doesn't sound like a mistake the viewer would actually take, they're not going to be glued. But if I were to say, hey, never ever do this thing, and you're doing this thing, and then I tell you it's leading to a bad outcome, all of a sudden you are glued to the screen. And that's what we want to do with this hook. So to give you a couple more examples, in fitness, you know, obviously I'm a big guy, you know what I mean? So obviously I'm in fitness, and I know, and if you're in fitness, you know, like the general understanding of what you should do whenever you get to the gym is do 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 12. So in fitness, we want to call out the mistake that the viewer is either currently making or could see themselves making. So never ever do 3 sets of 12. Or for content, for me specifically, if you watch content marketers and X1C, they'll always tell you to post at your peak time. I think that's horseshit. You should not post at your peak time. Not a conversation for now, though. Either way, that's a mistake that my idle clients make, or they could see themselves making. So that's another example. Real estate could be never, ever, ever negotiate a deal over email. And then tax strategies, if you're like a tax strategist, for example, and you're, I don't know, Carlton Dennis, you could say something along the lines of never, ever, ever, ever. There's too many evers. Pay for your family vacation with your personal income. And from there, once the viewer hears, oh, fuck, I'm doing that, all of a sudden they're like, okay, why? And that's exactly what you're gonna answer on the next side of this template. So then once you've told them what not to do, you must tell them why they should not do it. So tell them the consequence of that mistake. So you can either say when or after you do common action, the mistake, tell them the result of what happens directly after that. So for example, in Josh's example, after you send the link, they start thinking about what can go wrong. And then all of a sudden, you now frame the consequence. So after you do common action, that's the mistake. This is the result of what happens. They start thinking about what can go wrong. And then you go over next thing. So next thing you know, and then you give a specific painful experience that they either could see themselves, like they could see themselves experiencing, or they are experiencing because they're currently making the mistake. So in Josh's example, the next thing you know, you hear, I need to think about it, which if you run a business, we can all relate to. All of a sudden, as soon as you nail this, and again, you have to fucking nail this, you have to know your idle client extremely well to pull this off, but if you can pull this off, the clients will not scroll. To where all you have to do from here is frame that, hey, here's the wrong way to do it, here's what happens if you do it, and then from there, they're now ears open about, well, what's the better way to do it? So then you say, instead, you get desirable income, and this is how. Oh, outcome, and this is how. So in Josh's example, instead, you close this deal right then and there, and then this is how. And then whenever you do this, just ensure that the desirable outcome is in contrast with the negative outcome that you stated whenever you said, don't make this mistake, because this negative will happen. Try to make it to where there's a clear contrast in between negative and positive. So to give you examples of that, of what the positive could look like, let's say, for example, we were saying never, ever, ever do 3 sets of 12. And then you go on to say, hey, whenever you do this, basically, you're not going to failure, blah, 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 blah. And instead, you can make twice the gains with just 2 sets. This is how. Or for content, you should never, ever post at your peak time, because whenever you post at your peak time, because if your followers are on at this peak time, by definition, if you post at that time, the only thing that's going to go down on that graph is going to be basically the follower activity, to where why would you post at your peak time? Because your followers about to log off. Instead, you should post right before your peak time. That way you get your video shown whenever all your followers are on, and you post on the upward trajectory and not the downward trajectory. So in the content example, which is actually a video that I made, after you post your peak time, your followers are starting to log off. Next thing you know, you watch the video you spent hours on get shit views. And instead, you post when your video will be shown to all of your followers. And this is how. And then from there, that you have basically said, hey, you're doing it an inferior way. Here's a superior way. You just go ahead and explain to them what the superior way is. Now, for this portion, of course, it's going to be like context dependent. You just need to go through and give them the correct action, ensure that it's actually good information, because that's going to be, if it's not good information, then it's going to fucking scroll. And then once they go through the good information, they now know what to do in comparison to what not to do. You make the promise that if they take the actions that you tell them to do, it'll be worth it, and that it actually is superior. So for example, in like magic, as long as you did the actions correctly, as in they did what you told them to do, then a specific desirable experience happens. So for example, in like magic, as long as you had this cool, chill energy, they'll start reading out the 16-digit card number and you just made a sale. And then at the end, you could go for a mini chat CTA in general, especially with the members inside Nexus. It never really feels like it's natural. So the next best thing is to get them to save the video. Well, the next best thing is to get them to share the video, but that wouldn't really make sense. So next best thing after that is to save the video. So you say, save this video for a reason. It's important that you give them a reason, because whenever you ask a viewer to take an action, it always needs to be framed in their benefit. And then you say, and go get the results that you promised. So for Josh, save this video, practice it a few times, and then go make some fucking money. And then bada bing, bada boom, bada bam, you can have a viral video that people are saving, and they're gonna truly look at you as the authority. And they're gonna truly look at you like you just helped them, because you basically said, hey, you're currently making this mistake. Here is why this is a mistake, and here's what you're currently experiencing. And as long as you nail that, it's like, holy fuck, this guy knows his shit. This guy knows me. And then you go on to give them what to do instead. And as long as that information is good and they see it as good and they could see it working for them, you make a promise that it will work for them where they're just like, holy shit, this was great. I love this guy. And you tell them to save it because, again, it's beneficial. It's a solution for them. It's going to get them to the desirable outcome. And you framed it in their benefit, so of course they're going to save it. And now you have a viral video on your hands. So, like I mentioned, there's different script examples below here. I would highly recommend you go through this, look at the examples, see what you can see the patterns in between. And then from there, I mean, this is going to be the best performing video that you'll make of 2026. So scroll up here, go to script direction, follow the script direction, make the fucking script. This will be a really, really good performer for you. However, arguably not better than the third template, which we'll get to in a second. But right now, pause the video, make the script, unpause whenever you're done. All right, and then we got the third video template, the borrowed interest system. So let me take this shit off, it's getting hot. So this video comes from, or this video template is inspired off of a video from BBC, the big Brandon Carter, if you will. And yeah, this video got 2.5 billion views. It's a great video. People have gotten amazing results from using this inside Nexus. And I think this is going to be on par with the second one whenever it comes down to just getting a fuck ton of views if you do end up making it. So let's take a look.
You never want to be broke. Here's why you should have 5 bank accounts. This is a system that I developed. It's based off a book called Profit First. One of the accounts is where all your money comes in. If you have multiple jobs or different sources of incomes, everything gets deposited in this one account. There are no automatic charges, no debit cards associated with it. Its only reason is to collect the money. You're going to disperse the money in those accounts amongst the other 4 accounts. Account number 1 is your investment account. This is the most important one. This is the one that's going to lift your ass out of poverty. 50% of your income goes into this investment account. Only use that money on things that will make you more money. The next account, operations account, all your living expenses. 30% of your income goes there. And I can't live off 30% of my income. That's why you gotta make more money. Next account, taxes. You're gonna pay your taxes out of this account. 15% of your income should go there. And then 5% goes into the baller account. This is what you're gonna use on just fun stuff. And that's why you need 5 bank accounts.
Beautiful. All right, so this one is one of the easier ones to create. So if we go to script direction, there's only 4 different parts. So first things first, introduce the unique fix to an undesirable outcome. And then from there, you borrow the credibility from something that is more credible than yourself and where you pulled the system from or the solution from. Go over a step-by-step go over step by step on how to implement that subsystem. And then from there, you tie it all together with the key takeaway. So for this one in particular, for the framework, if you never want to be in undesirable state, that should be in the undesirable state of your viewer, here's why you should use unique strategy. Now, whenever you do this, the important thing is that it is a unique fix. Therefore, whenever your viewers hear it, it should not be something that they think is, they shouldn't feel like they already know the answer. So for Brandon Carter's example, if you look here, it says, if you never want to be broke, here's why you should have 5 bank accounts. Whenever you think about the concept of having 5 bank accounts, that's not something that everyone has. Like, that's not normal. That's a unique solution that they most likely never heard of before. And that's what's really going to grab their attention. So you do lost aversion at the beginning by saying, if you don't ever want to be what you don't want to be, cool, you need this unique solution that they don't currently have. And that's the important part of this hook framework. So to show you some more examples, you have, if you never want to run out of customers, here's why you should make 10 copies of the same ad. In fitness, if you never want to be fat, here's why you should only eat 3 foods. And in productivity, if you never want to burn out, here's why you should take 3 different drugs. Then once you've introduced your unique fix, you can go on to borrowing credibility. So it's a unique, it can be system, method, doesn't really matter, just a unique solution and something that you can, something like a thingy, you can thinkify. And you can say that you developed it off of a credible source, preferably that source being more credible than you or more well-known than yourself. So for Brandon Carter, he says, this is a system I developed based off a book called Profit First. This one is a little bit tricky. It doesn't have to be off of a book. It could be literally off of anything. So to show you a couple of examples of what that could look like. For an ads agency, let's say you said, if you never want to run out of customers, here's why you should make 10 copies of the same ad. You can say, it's a strategy that I developed based off Alex Hormozi's ad account. Now, Alex Hormozi is probably a more credible source than the ad creator that's making this video. Therefore, the viewer is going to be even more bought into hearing the information. For fitness, it's a rapid fat loss method I developed based off this research paper on the best foods weight loss. That's a third-party source, which is objective. Therefore, it's more credible than the creator. Or for productivity, it's a protocol I developed based off a book called Superbrain, which was written by Elon Musk's productivity coach. Elon Musk, more credible and more well-known source than most likely, definitely than whatever creator is making this. Therefore, the viewer is now bought in to seeing, well, okay, cool. If Elon Musk uses this, it's good enough for me. And then they'll go ahead and move on to listening to your step-by-step. Now for this one, obviously this one's context dependent, independent on the information you give. So there's no true framework. You just want to try to keep this portion of the video to be, again, a step-by-step process and try to make it not too long. Preferably, it would be 3 steps. It should be anywhere between 3 and 5, no less, no more. And then try to make each step within 1 to 3 lines. I'd prefer it to be 2 lines if you had to average it out. And then make sure that your video follows the trinity of value. So this is a link to another video of mine. It's a YouTube video. No, this goes to the school. I'll swap this out for a YouTube video that I posted around this. It just goes over how to make a valuable video and how to make a valuable, actionable video. So map this out. Again, the information must be good. And as long as it is good, they'll continue to watch after they've already bought into watching your video because, again, you're presenting a unique fix that's credible. So as long as it's good, they'll make it to the end. And then at the key takeaway, you just want to make them understand what they got out of your video and go, holy fuck, I love this guy. That made sense. And it's also a good way to end off the video. So, and that's why you need to use unique strategy, whatever that is. Puts a nice little bow in the video, beautiful. And the viewers are sitting there going, holy shit, this guy's video is so good. If this is his free content, I wonder what his paid content looks like. And then all of a sudden you now have a viewer that may not buy from you on that video, but if they continue to watch your content and if you continue to make videos like this, they definitely will buy from you at some point. And that is the borrowed interest system. So before I go over my free gift for you, which I'll give you in a second, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and pause this video. Again, go to script framework, and then from there, write out your script, and then end this video off with 3 viral scripts so you can go record directly after you leave this video, after I give you my gift. That said, pause, go script. Well, looky there. You now have 3 viral videos that I promise will be your highest performing content you've ever created. And not just in terms of views, but actually attracting attention from your ideal clients. It's still not enough to build your entire business long term. It is a continuous process of needing to make good videos, and not to mention having the organic funnel set up on the back end to convert all of your new intention into paying clients. So from here, you have two options. Option one, if you want to just keep binging some free content, then I suggest this video on the screen at the top right. Or option two, if you're the type of person who doesn't want to waste time going through all of the trial and error by yourself and just want a proven system for you to follow, then feel free to click on the first link below to see what Nexus could do for you and your business.